Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let me introduce ourselves. My name is Vena Agustina. I'm from Group D and I'm going to explain about Test Instrument Development 2. And this is our members of Group D. First is me as Vena Agustina, and the second is Muhammad Abdul Mujib, and the third is Safa Akrita Hilsania. And this is the contents of our explanation. First is types abilities in NCTM. The second is questions in Bloom's taxonomic. The third is question according to the level of abilities in NCTM, and the last is PISA indicators. First, I'm going to explain about types abilities in NCTM. Actually, there are 5 abilities in NCTM. First is I'm going to explain about the solving problems. Solving problems is not only a goal of learning mathematics, but also a major means of doing. So, it is an integral part of mathematics, not an isolated part of the mathematics program. So, the example of solving problems such as build new mathematical knowledge through problem solving, solve problems that arise in mathematics and in other contexts. Third is apply and adapt a variety of appropriate strategies to solve problems. And the last is monitor and reflect on the process of mathematical problem solving. And the second type abilities in NCTM is reasoning and proof. Mathematical reasoning and proof are powerful ways of developing and expressing insights about a wide range of phenomena. People who reason and think analytically tend to note patterns, structure, or regularities in both real-world and mathematical situations. So, the example of reasoning and proof such as recognize reasoning and proof as fundamental aspects of mathematics. Second is make and investigate mathematical conjunctures. Third is develop and evaluate mathematical arguments and proofs. And the last is select and use various types of reasoning and methods of proof. The third ability is communication. Mathematical communication is a way of sharing ideas and clarifying understanding. Through communication, ideas become object of reflection, refinement, discussion, and amendment. The example of communication is organize and consolidate their mathematical thinking through communication. Second is communicate their mathematical thinking coherently and clearly to peers, teachers, and others. And the third is analyze and evaluate the mathematical thinking and strategies of others. And the last is use the language of mathematics to express mathematical ideas precisely. And the fourth abilities is connections. Mathematics is not a collection of separate standards, even though it is often partitioned and presented in this manner. Rather, mathematics is an integrated field of study. So, the example of connections such as recognize and use connections among mathematical ideas. Understand how mathematical ideas interconnect and build on one another to produce a coherent whole. And the last is recognize and apply mathematics in context outside of mathematics. And the last abilities in NCTM is representations. Mathematical ideas can be represented in a variety of ways: pictures, concrete materials, tables, graphs, number and letter symbols, spreadsheet, display, and so on. The ways in which mathematical ideas are represented is fundamental to how people understand and use those ideas. So, the example of representations is such as create and use representations to organize records and communicate mathematical ideas. Select, apply, and translate among mathematical representations to solve problems. And the last is use representations to model and interpret physical, social, and mathematical phenomena. And the second of content, I'm going to explain about the questions in Bloom's taxonomic. As we know, In Bloom's taxonomy, there are 6 taxonomy grades. And this is, I choose the example in math questions of prime factors. First is remembering. The example of questions about prime factors is, what is a factor? What is a prime number? And the second is understanding. So the question is, why is 7 prime? And the third is applying. So the question is, what are the prime factors of 125, 81, 343? Can a prime number be a multiple of 4? And the fourth is analyzing. So the question of prime factors is, how do you go about finding the prime factors of a given number? And then evaluating. So the example of question is, can you think of a number that has one repeated prime factor or all different prime factors? Which numbers less than 100 have exactly 3 factors? What number up to 100 has the most factors? And the last taxonomic is creating. So the example of questions about prime factors is, the sum of 4 even numbers is a multiple of 4. When is this statement true? When is it false? That's all for me. I'm sorry if I have an error, and the next material will be explained by my friends, that is Muhammad Abdul Mujib. Thank you.